It's been a year since the last raw session, but honestly, the more challenging my life seemed to get, the more I want to combat this with good positive actions, or the more I feel like I have to take part in positive actions to stay on track, like to be the best person, the best dad, the best athlete, the best coach. So right now, woke up, had a coffee, and we're going to, I did a few stretches, Cossack squat, Jefferson curls, everything that you want to maintain, you can throw in your warm-ups, mobility included, but as you will see, after the rotator cuff warm-ups that I will do and show you, that I do before every ring session, I feel the rotator cuff in particular, you can do a lot of good band exercises and light exercise, but rotator cuff in particular will get the shoulder going for rings. I will hit a few relatively easier skills on rings as a gradual warm-up. So a lot of people ask me, what can I do for maintenance? How can I maintain my skills? Where should I put it in my workout? If it's really that easy for you or easy enough, just throw it as a few warm-up sets before the harder skills that you are now training. And hopefully it will also activate the right muscle groups. You will get the joint warmed up, the muscle pumping, and ready to go. Again, it's easier to gradually overload barbell training. Just add 5-10% weight until you hit your working sets. In calisthenics, gymnastic strength, you can use easier bent arm exercises, push-ups, rows, dips, chin-ups, pull-ups, and then move on to easier stuff, L-sits, handstands, muscle-ups, back levers. If you're training, let's say, the plunge front lever iron cross as a warm-up and maintenance work, and you get a lot of volume done in a short period of time. So now moving on to the rotator cuff routine, doing about 20 reps per exercise, a ton of exercises, probably about 300-400 reps to get everything pumping. Other side. And per side, the Maltese position again. In the bottle, I have electrolyte drink, which I make. You can buy, if I buy from Rob Wolf Element. Great electrolyte drink because it's the only one that has the perfect ratios between the different electrolytes and water, sodium, potassium, magnesium. But I make it home because it's relatively expensive and you can make it for a few cents a bottle, honestly. I mix no salt or low sodium salt, and they have high potassium, so it's almost like a potassium supplement. I mix table salt, Himalayan salt for the sodium, 1 liter of filtered water, and I take a magnesium pill, and that's in the perfect ratio. So throughout the workout, I drink half a liter pre-workout, and I sip this throughout the workout. A lot of people just think hydration is about water, so they drink during workout, pre-workout, but you actually need the electrolytes for energy, for muscle contraction, to prevent cramps, to maximize endurance, and that's the perfect electrolyte drink that you can make. I'm currently training fasted because it's very early, but I'm full from yesterday. Honestly, it's not really a fast. I just woke up an hour ago, so no big deal really on a full stomach. Just having this electrolyte drink, and now let's get into ring skills. The maintenance one, I'm using that as a warm-up. We'll be trying to do some shoulder stand, handstand, L-sits, muscle up, front lever, back lever, mostly A-level skills that are great to just warm up the body. I believe a lot of people assume that I can just hop on an iron cross or hop into Maltese out of nowhere, out of the blue with no warm-ups, just because I have it, because I can do the skill. But just walking around outdoors or at home, I'm feeling as unprepared, as unable as any other person. I have to get through a very gradual warm-up to get my body to almost fool the mind to believe I can actually do it. If you suddenly jump into a very hard skill, your joints, your brain sort of shuts down force production. There's a mechanism that calls the Golgi tendon organ, which shuts sends signals to the brain to shut force production whenever it feels danger, risk of injury. This organ sits within the tendons, so it's especially true for calisthenics and gymnastic skills, straight arm skills. When we especially stress the tendons, the joints in the most stressed, disadvantageous position, think about the iron cross, shoulder is in extreme internal rotation. Now you stretch the shoulders and the elbows. That's the exact type of exercise that if you don't warm up gradually, in order to desensitize the Golgi tendon organ and actually tap into your level of strength, the pure one, then you won't be able to perform. If I just walk in, do a few sets depending on how I feel, I wouldn't be as strong as I am, or any stronger than that, because I wouldn't tap into the amount of intensity I need to keep getting stronger. And it's not easy. It's honestly not easy. It's not something that you might feel on a daily basis that you are inclined to do. Okay, maybe once, sets of 5 push-ups and 5 dips were your full walking sets. So you felt like you can just go right in and start the workout with little to no warm-up. But as you get stronger, you need more gradual warm-up sets. It's either that, or you simply don't perform at a high level enough to keep getting stronger. There's something about training that, in my opinion, is about doing difficult stuff just for the experience of doing difficult stuff. Yes, you also desire the type of resilience and toughness that you get from it, but also just doing something difficult for the experience of it. There was a J.M. Blakely podcast in Dave Tate's Elite FTS podcast. You should listen to it. A great philosophical coach and lifter with the experience and performance levels that we seek inspiration from. Either way, I think training should make you tougher, more resilient. Whenever doing a particular weight or skill outweighs its ability, its potential to toughen me, I don't desire it. I don't crave it. So for instance, and I'm sorry for the street lifters out there, you are not street lifters. You are the most princess trainees that I've seen, especially in the calisthenics sphere, which was supposed to be originally a minimalistic way of training, probably outdoors most of the time with just your body weight, in almost any condition, anywhere, anytime. You weren't supposed to need a gym. Now, I have a gym and I'm thankful for it, and I want to use bands and rings and maybe a little bit of weight. But the moment I need a very particular setup and very particular environment to do my exact prescribed weight and everything, then it bothers me. It bothers me that I can't do it. For instance, we were vacation, we were on honeymoons, and I always just took the rings, hang them from a tree bench, and got a decent workout. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't prefer to train at home with full equipment, which is not a lot really. It's basically some bands, a little bit of weight, rings, and bands. But I'm 80% there. I can get a good workout for my goals, basically taking rings and hanging them almost everywhere, or just doing a workout on a P-bars and pull-up bar. It's important to me. And once I become too specific and greedy about little details, that bothers me. I already know, and it's almost doomed to end. I want to change the goal so it can actually support my overall sense of toughness. Okay, hitting perhaps the last small ring routine as a warm-up. Adjustments. This is where tracking your training really comes to fruition. 6 weeks ago, 5.5 weeks ago, worked with the same level of support, 8.5 kg support on bands, and watching these sets, I know now what I have to improve. I did 2 sets of 6 seconds on the Maltese, and I gotta be adding something. Since I'm going to keep the support constant, I'm adding more seconds. So right now, I will aim for a Maltese set, more than 6 seconds. Let's go for 8, okay? Because 7 is, that's like the same thing, right? You should expect 1 more rep after a month, 1 more second, 2 more seconds, or 1 more kilogram. You should expect that. And now that I know that, I can't back off. Like, that's the improvement. Once you know what you have to do, just step into that. Okay, I think it was 8-9 seconds, solid hold. Was aiming for more than 6, making sure it's not questionable. And then I'm moving on to the assistance exercises. So today we will do some Maltese board presses, and we will do dumbbell planche presses with dumbbells. So it's a lot of gymnastic specific exercises, and I have tomorrow another session. I won't film this session, unfortunately. That's a bent arm workout. So tomorrow we're doing pull-ups and dips. So for general strength, general function, and to support ring performance. Because only doing the ring stuff, very high intensity, very stressing on the joints. And actually I feel that the pull-ups and dips, that's a lot of blood flow, that's supportive, that's the type of strength that will eventually transfer over to rings. A second set, Aiming for another 8-9-ish second hold set. Yeah, was feeling it definitely. Okay, now moving on into the dumbbell Maltese presses to planche. This is a great measurable objective way to test where you are. So regardless of fluctuation in body weight, I can always compare myself to where I was. Now I did a little experiment myself and I posted it on Instagram about, maybe it was a year and a half ago already, where once I got 26 kilograms per dumbbell Maltese press for multiple sets of 3 reps, that's where I had the Maltese press to full planche on rings. Okay, so today I already practiced the Maltese. So from here, there's less purpose, there's less meaning of doing more volume. I tapped into the technique. Now I'm trying to get a different stimulus, different answer, different solution to my strength training by doing dumbbells. This is 22.5 kg per dumbbell. I'm aiming for 3 to 5 reps. We're doing 3 sets of 3 to 5 reps. And I will, there are no excuses here. I'll be able to compare myself to where I was exactly, regardless of fluctuation in body weight or anything like that. Weights don't lie. Okay, often the body weight exercises, they are tricky to measure. Weights don't lie. It's either I have it or not, and it's easily comparable. So let's see what we got. And I know that I'm weaker than where I was, so I don't expect doing 26 kgs. Makes sense how I feel on rings right now. Not top shape, with the fact that I'm not able to hit the weights I know necessary in order to get the actual skills on rings. Obviously, for someone who hasn't practiced the skill, Maltese, planche, front lever, iron cross, whatever your skill is, you have to learn the technique. Nothing is as close to actually doing it. How you have to coordinate the body, the legs, the core, rotator cuff muscles work differently. But for someone who's been doing those skills already for 5 years, the type of skills that I'm currently showing you, I'm not talking about the previous one, just starting calisthenics, I have the techniques down. So it's just a way, an objective, measurable way of building the raw strength that is the determinant factor, that is my limiting factor right now. The only reason I wasn't comfortable on rings there is because I don't have the raw arm strength needed in order to perform it. I know the grip, I know the body position. I've been doing that for 5 years now. Maltese iron cross planches, it's the raw strength. This allows me to measurably, objectively compare myself. So second set, 3 reps, and that's the type of exercises I need right now. I need to be confronted with the exact level of strength that I have and add in a way that I'm making sure that I'm progressing. No question about it, no gray area, just improving. That's the type of exercises that I need right now, and that's the ones that you'll be seeing more of. Starting from the bottom, in a hollow body, That's extremely challenging. Man, that's extremely challenging. Now, one extra benefit that you get from dumbbells, either if it's you're training the planche, dumbbell incline presses. If you're training the cross, you can do straight arm flies, Maltese presses. One of the biggest benefits is the unilateral strength. You get to strengthen your weaker limb. Now, everyone has discrepancy between strength in limbs. So, in strength between limbs. So when you hop on rings, when you do handstand push-ups, when you are doing a planche, you will always overcompensate with the stronger side, even if you don't feel like you do. And it is easier to strengthen weaker things than things that are already very, very strong. So arguably, I will make better improvements strengthening my weaker arm, improving it, than the stronger arm. I can make faster progress. Do you see where I'm heading to? So you make sure that you have about equal strength per side. The set is determined by the weaker limb. You develop equal parts of strength, and you also lower the risk of injury, because once you get one very, very strong side, you'll start shifting towards one side, rotating, bending, and that's where all of those little angles and squeezes that you do might get you tweaked. An elbow tweak, a bicep tweak, one bicep is working significantly more than the other. So that's a hell of a benefit. We already talked about the objectivity, measurability, your ability to just boom, add one rep, all things equal. But thinking about it, the unilateral one is a huge one. Now, last exercise of the day is the Maltese board press. And then I have to talk about specificity in training. So with the Maltese board presses, I'm aiming to do a set of 5 and then 2 sets of 4. And that will be one-upping the previous workout. This workout might look very, very specific. Refael, you're doing Maltese holds and Maltese with dumbbells and Maltese with lever reduction board presses. And you are correct, my friend, but actually that's how training looks when you get stronger. You specialize in a few things, in a few skills, but provided you chose correctly, it will have a lot of carryover to other stuff that you are doing or not doing currently to keep you just within range. Those skills are very, very demanding on muscle groups and ligaments and tendons that are also just overall needed, necessary, recruited in a lot of other gymnastics skills. So although this workout seems highly specific, ring Maltese holds, Maltese presses with dumbbells, and Maltese presses with board press with lever reduction, it will have a lot of carryover to other exercises because I'm getting my wrists, my joints, my elbows, shoulders very, very strong. I'm getting my biceps and front delt very, very strong. And those are the areas that are almost the most necessary for gymnastics type of strength. Although it's very specific, you will get somewhat stronger in the planche by doing it or maintain most of its strength. You'll get somewhat stronger in handstand push-up, straight arm presses to handstand push-ups, 90-degree push-up, dips, bench presses. You get somewhat stronger because those are generally very, very needed exercises in gymnastics style of strength. Now, second set, aiming for 4 reps to one up previous set, previous workout. So just finished the workout. Overall, it was a great workout, more so because it really signifies, it highlighted what I need to change in my routine to make consistent progress. I'm referring to the dumbbells in particular. I really love the fact how objective measurable they are and how unilateral strength can further improve me, potentially work on my weaker limb. Now for breakfast, if you haven't watched the transformation meat and eggs diet that I did about 3 weeks ago, it's a must. Now I've been playing with the carb source recently, so a lot of meat and eggs, but then adding a little bit of rice. Not a little bit, adding rice. Now it's either the fact that I was eating less meat and eggs than I used to when I was just purely meat and eggs with the added rice because of, the plate was filled with something else, or the white rice in it of itself. But I can attest myself that any deviation from the original meat and eggs diet that personally feels worse. Like the pure meat and egg, some honey and fruit feels best for me. Like the best I felt and satiated and full and performance. I had a pump, although I was low carb, I had a pump probably just from the amount of magnesium, potassium and creatine that you get when you eat 2 pounds of meat a day and an extra maybe 8 eggs a day. Any deviation from that with playing with carb sources or slightly less meat or less eggs is just a worse variation. So I'm coming back to what worked. A lot of people tell you right now that if it's not grass-fed steak, if it's grain-fed, that's no good, right? If it's organic eggs, if it's not pasture-raised egg, it's not good. These are in fact pasture-raised, but I don't want you to be discouraged by the fact that if it's not organic, if it's not pasture-raised and grass-fed, that it has less value or that it's not healthy. This is still in its current form as close to great nutrition for a lot of people, okay? This is my experience. You can try things for yourself. I encourage you. Make adjustments to your nutrition. I'm not saying everyone, hey, you should eat a pound of ribeye steak for breakfast and 4 eggs for breakfast with a teaspoon of butter. Meal is ready. We have 1 pound of ribeye and 4 eggs. Now I probably won't finish it in one meal. For sure I will save some of the steak for lunch, add a few extra eggs. I drizzled some honey on top and sea salt flakes. And that's breakfast for me. It's 9:30 right now, so the session took longer than expected, but that's with the filming and everything. If you like the video, like, share and subscribe only if you like the video. Coaching and training programs are in the description, link in the description, the Bodyweight Tribe. It will help also support this channel, make those YouTube videos happen. I hope you learned a lot from the video, took some value and knowledge from training, how gymnasts train. I'm not top level, nowhere near that. I'm also heavy for rings. I just weighed myself. I'm 84 kilograms, heavy for rings. But this is relatively high performance, and there's not a lot of content out there, unfortunately, from gymnastics athletes, ring athletes, and coaches. So I hope that I helped you and at least inspired you and gave you some inspiration to train, showed you what's necessary, the type of obstacle that you might come up with in training and striving to be your best. See you next time.